Shingy and Ocean, I don't know if you come on stage together or not. Apparently, she's coming later. Whatever.
Thanks, brother.
I'm really excited.
I'm going to bring Ocean up shortly, but you have me for now. Are we good?
We're perfectly. Awesome. You can do whatever you want. You have 40 minutes.
Perfect.
Just do whatever you want, and they're going to love it.
I love thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Dirk and I are very similar, I suspect, although I don't wear a suit anymore, so that's nice. I love the fact that you guys can switch from English to German so quickly. I sat in a couple of presentations yesterday. It is so delightful for me to hear German. It kind of puts me in a meditative state, said nobody on planet Earth. But I promise you it did it to me. It's lovely. I spent a lot of time in Germany. I used to run 13 countries for AOL and their head of media and marketing. But now I'm a sort of solopreneur. Are we good so far with language? Can I get an amen? Can I get a hell yeah? All right, we're here. I'm good. We're good. You guys know what the hell I'm saying. I'm here. All right, I have something to talk about. Normally I hang out with like the top 100 brands on planet Earth. Leo came to me last year, seconded me on the streets of Cannes. I go to Cannes Lion, the Creativity Festival. It's my 15th year. He said, dude, who did your outfit? I said, that was my daughter at the time. The outfit was done by my daughter. She also designed this one today. Thanks, Ocean. But what's nuts is that Leo said, hey, I'm doing this thing. You should come along. I'm like, what the hell is it? And who are they? And it's you lot. And I was thrilled to accept this because it's so different for me to be able to talk about something I am not qualified to talk about, which is education. But I'm going to have a crack at it. Are we good with that? Can I get on with it? Now, I'm Australian, so I normally really swear, but I'm going to keep this PG because my daughter's in the room. But if we were solo right now, we'll see what happens. But let me just say that in the world of rewiring and rewilding it, AI is a weird place. Why? We're at the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution. The first, clearly, was steam. Along came electricity, and now we're at computing. Awesome. But what's next? For 10 years, I've been talking about this, intelligence. Human and otherwise. Artificial and otherwise. And thank goodness we're there now, because it took us 10 years to get here. So where I find this to be fascinating is I'm going to just rip through some ideas with you, just to reset where we're at. And this is one of them. If you think about it, baseline is this. If it can be automated, it will be automated. Really that simple. Why do I have experience in saying that? Because of this. I'm a designer. I know, really hard to believe I'm a creative. Anybody in here a designer? Anybody know what those are? Do you know what those are, young lady? They are Pantone squeaky markers. That's how we used to design stuff back in the day, right? Right. None of this Canva crap, which I saw on one of those slides. We used to do things old school, man. We used to draw things this big and pitch them to clients that big. It was amazing. But I studied that for 3 years. People said, Shingy, design is dead, dude. I'm like, what do you mean it's dead? They said, it's done. Why? The AI of my industry was this. Anybody know what this means? Desktop publishing. That thing destroyed my industry. Could not get employed for a couple of years. Like, design's dead, dude. Why? 16.7 million colors, 266 fonts. Everybody had an inkjet printer on their desk. We were screwed. And it happened. And it happened because that was now my new fishing tackle. I literally used to walk around town with a fishing tackle box full of protectors, full of markers, full of squeakies. Awesome. And then they said, Shingy, you got to learn to design on that, dude. I'm like, whoa, 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 what's that? They said, that's a computer, boy. I'm like, what? Oh, and by the way, that's the software you're going to have to design on. That's your creative palette. That's the right resolution. You're sitting there going, oh, Canva's really hard. Screw you. That was hard. So look, when I think about it, man, this is what happened to me. This suddenly becomes the most valuable company on planet Earth in the next couple of years. Who would have thought this thing is the third most valuable company today? And it flips positions between 1 and 2. Did you guys hear of this company 5 years ago? No. Unless you're an absolute dork. You did not know. Chip company, man. Right behind Apple and Microsoft comes these cats. It's pretty amazing because when you think about it, we're all now this. This is like the fishing tackle box moment for me. We're suddenly all prompt engineers. Good luck. But here's what I want you to think about. The fact that it feels like that AI is actually reading your mind. I don't know about you, when I use Gemini or I use Grok or I use any of these tools, Copilot from Microsoft, it all feels like it's reading my mind. You too? Yes. And if you don't believe me, you know it's true. And here's where it's amazing. Is it new? Of course not. It's been around for forever. Back in '96, the #1 chess player in the world was beaten by AI. All right. So, when you sit there and you generate all these images, just be careful. One, what you're doing to the environment and the computational power it takes to do that. There are 35 million images produced in AI per day, and they're kind of rubbish. What you're producing is pretty dorky. So we need to be more conscious about it, in my humble opinion. Why? Because this is going to happen. The evolution of AI you cannot control. It's happening without your permission. But what you can control is the revolution of your own intelligence. And that's one thing that I had to sit with for a while. And so here's what I'm thinking about. I grew up in the world of IQ, the internet of IQ. Some of you in the room here are probably of that genre. We've been through it. Some of you that's a little bit silver fox, I get you, I'm here for you. It's me. But here's what's up, man. We're moving to EQ. It's all about empathy. It's all about heart, soul, all these things. But this is the number one word across the world right now. Disruption. Everything's being disrupted. Your heart, soul, mind, everything cosmically is being disrupted. And then we're like, well, let's just cover that up with beautiful experiences like this is. This is a beautiful experience. I think what Leo and Gordon have done are an amazing job. This is year one, right? Crap. Amazing. Great energy. Experience. But what's really interesting is transformation. Transformation is happening to us, mentally, physically, spiritually. And let me just earmark that. Here's the baseline for me. This is what these new tools are designed for. So when Dirk got up, if you're in the session earlier, when he talked about the 19 different things to build a business from start to end, really what it's designed for is the logic of a dreamer. That's it, my friends. To be able to say, what would it be like if Alice was real? That's the kind of tool that you have access to today. I don't have to squeaky market that thing, which was my generation. But the fundamentals have shifted. There's a fundamental shift happening. And it's a bit like this. We're no longer just searching, we're actually seeking. We're no longer just thinking about belonging. That's the soul of what we need. We're also thinking about broadcasting, which is where we are today. But that will evolve back to belonging, I promise you. But it's not a destination, and the only word I understood in Dirk's presentation was this: mindset. It's not a time in period in history where it'll arrive. You already have to be that in your mind. And so when I think about it, why is this very, very different than any other time in history? It's simply this. Back in the day, it used to take a creator to create and you to consume. Those days are over. You are now both the creator and the consumptioner at the same time. So that's the pivot moment. That's why this is very, very transformational for us. It's very, very different. But here's the bad news. Well, maybe it's good news for some of you. Everybody have a job in here or no? I mean, it's Friday in the morning. I don't know, some of you maybe not. I'm loving the crocodile arms, by the way. Yeah, but guess what? The vast majority of people on planet Earth hate their job. That's probably why you're here. Give me some inspo, boo. Let's see what's up. And this is what's amazing about that. Does anybody know how many hours of your life you'll spend at work? It's about 90,000 hours. It's 80% of your waking life is at work. So if you don't enjoy your job, you might want to get a new gig. That's kind of where we're at. And here's where it becomes amazing. I fundamentally believe we're disconnected. Why? Because of this. Back in the day when we were hunters and gatherers, we would spend only 15 hours a week working. Only 15 hours. Also, it's not lost on me that dude and I share the same haircut, but whatever, dude, we're there. Long live the 90s. But this is what's amazing to me. If you think about it, the world of industrial revolution that happened in one of those moments, the third industrial revolution was this. We now spend 40 hours a week working. Does anybody in this room have the privilege of only working 40 hours a week? You lucky, lucky people. You two, you're students. How's that possible? But here's what's up for the rest of us. If I'm not clocking in 100 hours a week, I feel like a failure. Yet, I'm told I have all the tools, all the technology, all these things to make me efficient, fast, and automated. True? True. It's not happening to any of you. You're working harder, slower, more thoughtful, and far more anxiety than ever before, I would argue. I will also say that all this technology, my bag is 3 times bigger than it used to be. And everything's meant to be this small. Bollocks. And so here's where it becomes fascinating to me, my friends. Everybody is trying to create creativity in every single workplace on planet Earth, aren't they? Whether it's a dinosaur appearing into your office, whether it's DJ decks and skateboard rinks, man. Whether it's this, slippery dips from one floor to the next. Where it's climbing walls in Boulder, Colorado. Where it's hot air balloons with Martians peering at you at the YouTube office. This is not creativity. Homie had it, man. Dude from your country, love this quote more than anything in the world. imagination's more important than knowledge. Is it really? Yeah. I do not understand that. If somebody at lunch wants to take me to the whiteboard out there and math that crap for me, awesome. I have no idea what the quantum theory means. What a legend. But what I do know about Einstein was he's a classically trained violinist. Did you know that? Of course you did. And I hope you adore that, because here's where it became important to me. If you think about the two sides of your brain, one side of it was all of this. We all studied this at school, didn't we? We feel good about all this stuff? Awesome. And then the other side of the brain was all meant to be that, wasn't it? Awesome. What happens when you enter the workplace? What do you drop? This side or that side? That side. You know, I'm a designer. Enter the workforce, sit in front of PowerPoint every day. What was that about, dude? I'm meant to be dancing and playing and rock and rolling, dude. Those days apparently are well over. But this is where it becomes fascinating to me. If you think about what gets you into life is the left, what gets you through life is on the right. So I applaud you to think more about what that means in your world. Where do the best ideas come from for you in this room? Anybody just want to speak back to me? Any brave human? I mean, it's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. You should be hungover and definitely not thinking about your best ideas. Whoa, that was a double in stereo. I heard nature and coffee. How about wrong, right? By the way, dudes, we process caffeine differently than women. We should lay off caffeine. Yeah, because women rule the world. They do what they do. It's amazing. But that's just a little tidbit for you. But here's what's up. Nature, maybe? What about nature? You didn't think I was going to ask back, did you? What about nature gives you best ideas, dude? Oh, mathematics in nature. I'm asking the wrong person. I love that, mate. He's going to teach me about the quantum theory. Love that. But here's what's really where we're at. The best ideas come from where you don't have to focus on them. Yeah? You're going for a run, walking the dog, showering, going out with mates, having a drink. All these things that are not in the boardroom where you're forced to in these corporate worlds that we grew up in. The best ideas come because we're not thinking about those ideas. Our world can run in chaos. And so, if you think about it, your brain works best in an alpha state, when you're about to daydream. Remember, you're in an office on Monday, watch this. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you've had your sugar rush, you're trying to fall asleep. What do? You pretend to be really busy, don't you? All you want to do is just have a big old nap. And you look over there and you're like, why is Johnny looking out the window? Shouldn't that little bugger be doing some work? Hey man, he might be actually solving some problems. He's in a daydream state. So we just need to reset the way we think about work and play. But it's really interesting because I spent a lot of time in corporate, and most companies think they're here, don't they? If I quiz you guys, you're like, oh dude, Shingy, we are fearless and good. I would question that every single day. The vast majority of companies actually sit about there. And it's amazing because there's something that's very odd about this connected human. We all want to be connected, but yet we feel like this guy. We think this is the connected human. If I met you 10 years ago, I'd look more like this. Today, I try and get devices away from me as quickly as humanly possible. Back then, I wanted to be a data nut. I just wanted to understand what I could do with all this data that I'm collecting. That's not really what I aspire to be. This is not really who I want to be anymore. And the reality is this. Every single thing that you have on your person, in your home, around you, surrounding you, has built-in intelligence. It's collecting micro bits of data, which we add to the cloud, and we call it LLM. 10 years ago, we called it big data. It's all the same thing. These are micro moments to make a macro movement. And that's what's happening right now. And we've built a graphical user interface that you sit in front of, whether it's ChatGPT or others. And that's suddenly what we're using, is all these big data for tiny little decisions. You with me? And so this is where it becomes fascinating to me, because what we're really just looking for is joy in the little things. That's kind of the number one attribution, I would say, as a human. And so I'm from Australia, as you can tell, I hope. Don't call me British or New Zealand or South African or end up with a fist fight tonight at your night shift or whatever the hell we're doing. So this is where I'm from. That is the house I grew up in. That's the town I'm from. That is my family. I'm one of 10 kids. That's, oh, bless. 12 people in a 2-bedroom house and a ton of therapy. I will tell you, though, that Chinese Catholics, we are unstoppable, dude. So when we got to this point, I'm of a generation that I bought my first car when I was 17. And that gave me freedom, independence, and self-expression. Some of you as well? Yeah? Does anybody have a kid around 17? Do they have a license? Yes or no? No? Do they have a license? Yes or no? Okay, 50-50. Who else has a kid about 17? License? Yes or no? License? Yes. Okay, we're at 50-50. License? Yes or no? They do? License? Yes or no? Okay, so they drive a BMW, Mercedes, or Audi. Oh my God, excuse me, fancy pants. So here's what's up. Those of you who doesn't have one, my friend, why? Oh, well then that's stupid, isn't it? Excuse me. At 18, will they get a car, do you think, and a license? Okay, it sounds like we're having a counselling session. We'll get there. Here's what's up. With the vast majority of people I speak to on planet Earth that have kids around this age, of driving age, you could be 16 and 9 months and have a car in Australia. That was me. And what's amazing about this driving age is that for me, it was freedom, independence, and self-expression. For kids today, it does not express that. It is responsibility. And they don't want that to. It's not Uber. It's not Lyft. It's responsibility. So for me, that was freedom. To them, it is not. There's a new kind of freedom, and some of it's this, isn't it? 37% of children under the age of 2 can operate a swiping device better than the parent. And this generation are called alphas. You know that, yes? That's what you talk about all day, every day, I'm sure. Nobody cares about Gen Z anymore. Bless. You guys, you Gen Zs, I see you. No, gone. Oh, if you're millennial, what happened to them? You know who had it tough, man? Gen Xers. You want to talk about how life was really rock and roll? Awesome. Boomers, they're all the ones that just have cash. Bless them. And nobody markets to them. Amazing. And the world I live in is marketing. Who knew? Generation Alpha. What's the oldest Alpha? What age are they, do you think? You guys didn't think I was just going to speak to you today, did you? Like, dude, speak German if you're going to speak that fast, for one. And two, do not ask questions. 13 is the eldest. 13. So here's what's up with them, man. Firstly, they want to be called founders. What has happened to us? We were raising a generation of kids that maybe want to be founders. Maybe it's inspiring, maybe it's not. Who knows? But here's where it's amazing. They are clearly part of the great screen age. The rest of us, it was optional. For them, not optional. This, Earth first. Gen X, or Gen Z, I should really say, you guys pretend to be about the Earth first. That's not really what you do. But Alpha will. Carbon footprint, they care about that. It's just obfuscated in a different term. They also care about sustainability. These are wild terms. There's a heavy responsibility for this younger generation today that also care about being authentic in the true sense. And this is where it becomes fascinating. Their work and play is blended. So if I am going to spend 80% of my waking life at work, it might as well be a reality. Some of us used to be a work persona and then a play persona. Those days are well over. In fact, there's probably a bunch of you that still have 2 phones. Do you? Some people have a work phone and a play phone anymore. It's bizarre to me that people still do that. They separate their work and their play. It's the same thing. Just rubber band it together. Because here's what's a reality. People actually really love to hang out with people. Who knew? It's not just all virtual. It's not just all this. We actually really like the community of other humans. And as somebody who speaks into the future of technology, it's bizarre for me to go back to old school values. But they rock and roll, man. But the world is completely imperfect. Why? Because of this. How many times on average do you think you unlock your phone per day? Anybody want to know what the global number is? You, young lady, with the phone on your pair of pants there, how many times do you think you unlock your phone per day? Very often. That's a good answer, isn't it? There's the catch-all answer I was looking for. Typically, it's about 180 times a day. Yeah, doesn't that feel like a kick in the guts? And it's incredible because you're going to have to play with that a couple of times now, aren't you? That I said, it's like, really, dude? I'm going to have to play with that. This is live shopping in China. Watch it.
这个音响平时买是不是很贵？是的。今天可以进入蓝牙模式来上车，抓紧手做没多单哦，10块，12块钱发我们的 14块钱发22双，8块。
8块。
16块钱50个衣架来上车，10块。38。
That is live streaming. That is real-time shopping coming out of Asia. Asia sets the trends. If you don't need a nap after watching this for 3 seconds, I don't know what's up. You feel me? This person is incredibly successful, and there are hundreds of people like her selling at that velocity. Isn't it crazy the way we think about it? And I'm going to say that we have to be careful. Because if we stay in this world of impatience, my friends, we will absolutely miss the new opportunity for intelligence. And this is why we need to think about transformation differently. How many of you check your screen time per week? Yeah, how we feel? Oh, there was a groan coming out of there. Are we feeling okay about that? Do we need a therapy session? No, neither of you feel good. Did you think that's real data? It says 2 hours and 40 minutes per day. No, not even close. Not even close. You think I'm going to show you my real data? No way. Just kidding. It gives me an anxiety attack, man. The amount of time we spend in the US, on average, we spend 11 hours in front of screens. 11 hours. So if your waking life is spent at work and 11 of those hours are actually, we've got it upside down. You don't have to do the math to know that it's the wrong way around. By the way, there is 150 apps to tell you you're spending too much time on your screens. Really? So there's a movement happening. There's this. You can buy an analog phone in new technology. Oh, remember the days you had one of these, bless? And you know what you could do was play Tetris? Oh, so Snake? Oh, delish. Who had a flip phone back in the day? Okay. Who bought a ringtone back in the day? Yeah. Dirk, do you remember how much you paid for a ringtone, boo?
Oh, too much.
Too much. Do you remember?
$3.
Okay. €3 or $3?
Euros.
And what sort of song did you, can you remember the soundtrack? No. Who Let the Dogs Out or something? Probably. 18. Yeah, 18. Oh, God. Oh, and we're back.
I remember the Addams Family.
Oh, wow. Check this out. Now we're going through a nostalgia vibe. 2006. How big do you think the ringtone market was? Anybody know? $6 billion. 2007, the iPhone came out. Has anybody heard a ringtone in the last 10 years? Yes. If you hear it, it's because somebody's using Android. Loud and proud, dude. But the rest of us, vibrate mode, right? But it's incredible about timing. There's something about this timing. You can also buy this phone for $1,500. All it does is make calls. Who knew? I'm not even picking up the phone anymore. Good luck. You call me, my voice message just says, send me a text or I'll never see it. It's for real. And this is the thing you might want to buy, though. If you're one of those people that's spending 150 times opening and closing your phone per day, Face ID, all that rubbish, you might want this. It's a block of plastic. Shape, size, weight of an iPhone. It's called a no phone. How amazing is that, dude? Why? Because this is happening. Have you noticed when we're walking along the street and all these people are looking up, you're like, oh, what are we all looking at? It takes 5 people to do that. It takes 2 of us to ignore each other. So if we're having a vibe, a moment, and I'm sitting here with you and we're chatting, you just pull your phone out like this, what is it? It just completely throws it off, doesn't it? And there's a term for it. It's called fubbing. It takes 2 people to phone snub. That's it, man. We're in a weird world. So the world is overwhelming because you're hit with 1,500 media messages per day, and then it's underwhelming because you cannot find what you're looking for. Have you seen the front page of Google today? It's just all half of it is dedicated to AI rubbish. When all I just want it to do is just give me a little soundbite of where I can go, do search properly. It's overwhelming. And by the way, it's not about the attention economy anymore, it's about intention, leaning into these experiences. Because if you're going to spend all this time unlocking, that device is now an intention device, not attention. It's very different. So, where does this lead you? Psychographically, we're all here somewhere. You're makers, believers, achievers, strivers. But I believe it's not about psychographics anymore. There's a new roadmap. And I think there are new archetypes, and they're like this. Every time there's a new trend, there's an opposite. So as much as we have all this incredible technology, we're doing this. There's an inner and an outer. There's a there's a And it's pretty amazing because I've actually developed this tension with myself as somebody who's thinking about this, educating a human. So for every tech euphoria, there is burnout. For every net zero urgency, there's a pleasure seeker. Whether there's ownership, there's access. You with me? There's a license, there's no license. And I didn't know it was 17, so thank you, brother, for correcting the heck out of me. But here's where we're headed. If you want to know about these archetypes, send me a message. I'll send you the data that I've done. I've built out 8 archetypes that I think are coming in the next 10 years. Who cares? What I want to talk about is really this. People are polymaths. They're awesome. They're no longer consumers consuming content, my friends. They're over. We are the creator, the critic, the curator of experiences, the collaborator, and the communicator, all in the same person. And it's incredible because when I think about it, knowing humans as I do, that's my day-to-day job, is knowing humans and telling brands what to do with them. But here's what's amazing. When you have one, it's radically different. So who in here is a parent? Okay, welcome to never, ever, ever sleeping again properly. True or false? True. Nobody tells you that. Like, oh, pregnant, well done, great. As soon as you have the baby, like, oh, great, enjoy that, you're never going to sleep well again. If I don't travel with my daughter, I wake up, she's 8. I walk around a hotel room looking for her to change her diaper, which she's not worn for years. Imagine that cycle. I haven't slept in years. That's why I look like a train wreck. But it's phenomenal when you have this responsibility, when you have this beautiful little human, how you treat it delicately, don't you? Suddenly it's like, wow, this little tiny person needs all the attention, and you experience many worlds, don't you? Let me show you mine, if you don't mind. So allow me to be intimate with you for a moment, because I don't often get a chance to do this. And when Leo said, would I come talk about things a bit differently, I'm going to talk about my world. So, the world of art. The Ocean is literally 4 weeks old. And she's part of this salon poetry club, hanging on for dear life, apparently. She's been involved in the art world since she was born. She's been around art since she's born. She's been involved in art since she was born. You can just see that we have taken her around the world to experience art. She's been to over 60 countries. She's traveled with us since day one. And we've been very delicate in making sure she has all that creativity, because that's our responsibility, isn't it? As parents, to make sure they have the best on-ramp to the world. And we're both musicians, my wife and I. We spent all this time trying to make sure that music and art is part of the life, even before she can speak. Oh, and I had Slash sign a guitar for her, so that's pretty dope. Where she started bashing, and I thought, I might actually put that away till she's a bit older. But hey, we're there. Mindfulness starts early. This young lady was very involved in making sure that when you see a kid's personality, you start to understand maybe it's going to be a bit different. This mindfulness. I never liked this. Dude, I was just trying to survive as a kid. I had 9 other siblings trying to jack on me every single day. You joking? They were trying to jump on me. It was crazy. So awareness is crazy. You know? The understanding that the world is much broader than yourself. It is July 4th in America, and I have the privilege of being with you as I spend all my time in the US, spending my Independence Day talking about the independence that we're trying to provide for my daughter. And it's wild, because you have to act and you have to understand that the world is wider than you. This is a sign that she created that became this incredibly wild poster. It's sold in an art gallery. And then you get involved in a community, chosen community. So she's part of this art collective with my beautiful wife. And she's also part of my tribe. That's my family. I told you I had a big family. Bloody hell, dude. It's like this. It's like all of us hanging out at dinner right now. It's nuts. Creativity is part of it. This is always the upbringing. This is what we do as parents. We try and make sure our kids have the most incredible creative life on planet Earth. Yes? Can I get an amen? And here's where it becomes amazing. This is the world that we live in. This is the world that we try and fabricate for ourselves. And then at some point in time, what happens throughout this incredible process of making sure we're enduring all of these beautiful experiences, we do what? We create these environments, these worlds, to make sure that they're shepherded as the best creative beings on planet Earth, because it's all we have left. If we then just resign ourselves to technology, we will be unforgiving with technology, and we'll allow it to wash over us, and we'll fabricate a totally different environment. And then the biggest thing was a realization and unlock for us was nature. So we surround ourselves, and we have the privilege of living in New York City, but also having access to the wilderness outside. And this wilderness has given us this ability to understand that nature is different and it's differentiating. And that's exactly the world that we try to do with Ocean. It's both around environment and in environment. And we love that for her. We love that for us. I'm actually terrified of nature. That's why I wear platform shoes. I try and get away from it as far as I can. But I'm learning to love it. But I'm going to get there. So this is Ocean's world. This is the world that you grow up in. And then what happens, my friends? They get to a certain age and they do this, don't they? And we had the privilege of going to a school yesterday. It was amazing. These kids all line up. They do their business. I love that. But you drop your kid off. This is her aspiring to go to school. And school starts to look a bit like this every single day for the rest of their waking life. And it's weird because I didn't see this coming, man. I didn't see this coming. And it's weird because you do this every single day for the longest time as you say goodbye. And you look at your daughter at some point, as I did, and realize, oh, something's a bit different here. What is it? She came home and said, there's not enough time to play in the forest. Okay. I didn't either. What's the problem? Then she turns around and says, recess is too short. But this is the thing that gave us massive pause. They just keep repeating things. So we paused and we just decided, whoa, homeschool, dude. I'm not a Christian housewife and I'm not a hippie. I'm probably a bit of both. But here's what's up, man. We decided, what if we world school her? 6% of schools in the US are homeschooled of kids. And so when you decide to homeschool, anybody homeschooling here? There's a massive anxiety that comes with it, by the way. Suddenly you're like, oh God, what, am I now on my own island? What about her socialization? What about stigmatization, right? And now I'm part of that group. What about this? Education quality. Well, it turns out that I'm married to an incredible artist. And this artist is also a futurist, but she talks about the world differently. And she designed this curriculum. And part of that design was to take this city, which has been our city for over a decade, her entire life, and turn it upside down and move to the jungle. We live on 400 acres in the Yucatan jungle in Mexico, which is the wildest thing for me to say out loudly. And the truth is, life is now an adventure. But it's not like, hey man, we just peace out. It's the opposite. She creates artwork that gets collected. It ends up on wine bottles. She ends up doing all of these incredible works that get collected by people. Amazing messages saying, will she do an edition of 2? No, she won't. She decided she'll just do a one-off. This is Ocean's signature early. This is her as a fashion designer. She has an incredible t-shirt series. She has this monumental amount of creativity that she has done all and get compensated. All the while, we're meant to be out in the middle of nowhere. And so the reality is, if you're out in nature, it can teach you to be in the world. And that's the conclusion that we're finding. And this t-shirt I'm wearing today is something that she designed for me. It's a phenomenal experience. And today, she's launched a book publishing company called The Good Lollipop. And her first book I brought to Germany for you, it got delivered here in time for some of you we're going to gift this to some of you. It's called A Day, Day, Day. At 8 years old, she has a publishing company to publish books for other kids. I'm pretty bloody proud of this child. And the fact that we're doing life a bit differently is wild to me. And we're trying to do things a bit differently. Where creativity is about connecting things, I fundamentally believe. Can you connect to all those source lines that we did of art, music, nature, love, etc., community? And can we connect them back to this human being? Osh, do you mind joining me, sweetheart? Do you guys want to say hi to my daughter, Ocean? Hey, baby.
Hi, Daddy.
Want to say hi to our friends?
Hi, everyone.
So, oh, thanks. So what's amazing, I love you. When Leo contacted us and said, hey, you can come talk about education, but would you bring your daughter? I'm like, oh, I'd be privileged. Ocean's never shared a stage with me. We've never spoken together. And we barely briefed on this because I wanted it to be really natural for her to be able to talk about this. So do you mind if I ask her some questions? So you are now homeschooled in nature. What has nature taught you that's different than school or books?
That stuff from nature kind of reminds you of stuff you see in the city, like, I don't know, a cathedral. Like a regular one is made of sand in nature, and it looks exactly like a real one in the city. And it's crafted by water, sand, nature, fire, and air.
Well, elements you're talking about.
Elements, yes.
And those elements you see in some of the architecture of these cities? Do you remember the cathedral in Barcelona that had some of that in it, the sand? Do you remember that? Gaudi cathedrals, do you remember those at all? No.
No.
Let me ask you then, if you think about what nature can teach you, if the elements of nature are seen in these cities, Does it make you feel comfortable in cities, or does it make you feel less comfortable in them?
I don't really feel comfortable in cities now.
You don't? Not anymore?
Nah.
Do you feel comfortable having shoes on?
No.
I do. Do you think that's a problem for me?
Yes.
Oh, good. And what I think is interesting is when we think about homeschool, what sort of class would you like to see from nature taught in schools, in traditional schools?
You mean what would I change?
Yeah, what would you change?
Well, I would make it. I would make a school in the forest so they could play, and make pottery with all the elements from nature, like
Pottery? Like mud pottery?
yeah, mud pottery.
Would you take those potteries and put them in your house, or would you give them back to nature, do you think?
I think I'll put them near a tree.
Put them back into nature, potentially? In Germany, they have a schooling system that isn't so rigorous
Really?
that we have in the US. Would you want to go to school in Germany, do you think, or do you want to stay homeschooled?
Stay homeschooled.
What's the benefit of that, do you think?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you think of the benefit of homeschooling over going to traditional school?
Well, you get to learn more and you get to use your imagination.
Oh, you do?
You're not allowed to do that in school.
There are some educators in this room that might disagree with that, but I love that opinion. Let me ask you a question then about, you launched a publishing company, and you've published your first book. It's about Day Day, by the way. And on our trip here, we decided to it's about Day Day in Paris. In fact, you can tell them what it's about. Do you mind telling them what your book's about?
Okay. It's about my bunny and I going to Paris, how he doesn't fit in because he sees many bunnies wearing suits and ties, and then he realizes he can be himself.
Okay, and then what happens?
He dances in front of a cathedral and all his clothes rips off, and then the other bunnies realize that they can be themselves and not be a copy of someone else.
So Day Day actually ends up being naked?
Yes.
Like he is now?
Yes.
Is he comfortable being naked?
Yes.
Oh, I love that story. But why did you decide to start a publishing company, not just do a book? There's something happened, you told me, that you're like, Papa, I think I need to start a publishing. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Because kids all over the world are addicted or hypnotized to the screens, like iPads and tablets. They sometimes, they throw tantrums and they don't really, they just act like the TV and screens are their friends, which is exactly what happens when you don't read books.
Was there an incident that happened that made you decide you want to make sure you're publishing books again?
Yes.
What was it? You want to share it with your friends? You want to tell them? You can tell them the story, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to New York for a dog's birthday because that's exactly
Whoa, a dog's birthday?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what they do in
That's
New
New
York. We were doing that, and when we arrived, I said hello, but my friend didn't say anything. She was so hypnotized by her screen, and, when we went inside to watch a movie, which is what we were excited to do, and, her mother came in, gave us water. She was still on the screen, and she spilled water all over me. And her mother, took the iPad away, and she threw a temper tantrum.
She did.
That lasted for 20 minutes.
And then did you decide that you wanted to do a publishing company to do what for other kids?
Make them dive deep into their own creativity and adventures.
Oh, do you want to publish other kids' stories?
Yes.
Okay, and if there's one piece of advice you could give these parents, what would it be for their kiddos?
I think...
That's a tough question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, how about I say this? The World Wide Web of Wonder is accessible to you. And my favorite quote is by this incredible actress, Katharine Hepburn. And it's simply this: if you obey all the rules, you miss all the fun. Thank you very much indeed for having us, guys. Take care and God bless.
Bye.
Thanks.
Shingy and Ocean, come on.